Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Justin Feldman from Feldman Physical Therapy and Performance, and today we're talking solar watches. We're going to compare the Garmin Instinct Solar with the brand new Garmin Enduro, and we'll hopefully help you figure out which solar watch might be best for you. Let's get right into it here. So first thing, you're comparing two products. Everybody starts with price. So the Enduro, we're going to go with the baseline model here. We're going to compare. It's going to be $799 is what it retails for. And the Instinct Solar, the baseline one, is going to retail for $399. There is a higher value Enduro that goes for $899. It's just a little bit lighter, but all the features, everything else is exactly the same. And the Instinct line has some surf-specific watches and a couple of other activity-specific ones that retail for slightly more money, but we're gonna put the basic units head-to-head. Now, so we got price out of the way. If you're looking at a solar watch, the main thing that you're gonna be looking for is battery life. So we look at battery life here, right? On the Instinct Solar, just in smartwatch mode, you're gonna get 24 days of battery life without exposure to sun, or 54 days if we expose it to sun. Now, compare that over to the Enduro. In my left hand, in the Enduro smartwatch mode, you're gonna get 50 days with no sun, and then you'll get 65 days in smartwatch mode with exposure to sun. Now, before we get too far into battery life, what does exposure to sun mean? Well, it means you need to have 50,000 lux, which is kind of the way they're measuring the brightness of the sun, right? Exposure for 3 hours a day. So that's how they standardize these metrics. So as we go back and forth and jump around, that's what that means. Now, if we're in GPS mode, so you're out doing an activity, and in the Instinct Solar, you are going to get about 30 hours of battery life without sun, and then 38 hours with sun exposure. If we jump over to the Enduro, you're gonna get 70 hours without sun, and then it goes all the way up to 80 hours if you expose it to the sun for that 3 hours that you're looking for. So pretty big difference, battery life there. Now, the biggest thing is that if you take the Instinct Solar and you are to get it exposed to sun for that 3 hours a day, and you put it into battery saver mode, which is gonna eliminate some of the optical heart rate and some of the other things on the back, then you could go indefinitely without having to charge it, okay? Or if you're exposed for more than 3 hours in a day, you can keep some of those other features on, and basically this watch will go indefinitely without needing to charge. The Enduro will not. The Enduro claims if you're in battery saver mode, you get a year with solar. I don't know about you, but if I had to go a year without charging my watch, I would definitely lose the charger. So keep that in mind. Pay attention to where you put the charger. These things last a long time, and when you need to charge them, you want to know where that thing is. So that's the big difference there, is that if you were looking for a watch that you might never need to charge, Instinct Solar is going to be the only way to go. If you say, well, 65 days is about as good as never charging it, then you've got the Enduro right here. Now, we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about some of the different performance features and some of the different things that you'll get on the Enduro that you won't get on the Instinct Solar. But before we do that, here's what I want you to do. Jump down and subscribe to our channel. Like this video. It really helps us out a lot. We really appreciate it. And you get lots of great content and information. While you're at it, if there's something you want, or if you have an opinion on these two watches, go ahead and throw that in the comments below. We love to have everyone's opinion and see what people are thinking and what you guys want to learn about. Now, let's talk about some of the performance features. So if you're looking at both of these watches are going to have access to Garmin's body battery feature, and they will both have the optical heart rate on the back. They will both have the pulse ox tracking on the back. You will get access to the step counts and stress measurements, as well as sleep information and all of those metrics that we have come to know Garmin for. However, if you are interested in performance metrics, if you're looking at your training load, if you are looking at that VO2 max, if you want access to that trail run VO2 max that Garmin introduced with the Enduro, you are going to have to go with the Enduro. The Instinct Solar has all the basic features, but it doesn't get any of those advanced features. And so this will not track your respiration rate, whereas this will. This will not output any VO2 max metrics or give you any training load information. The Enduro will. The Enduro will also have access to the Climb Pro features. It'll have access to the Pace Pro features. It'll have access to suggested workouts, heat and altitude acclimatization. It'll have the ultra running sport profile. It'll also have training suggestions where you go to start an activity and the watch will give you information based on your past activities, what it thinks your workout should be. And it'll give you rest and recovery information following each workout. You don't get that with the Instinct Solar. If we go over to the Enduro, you will also get access to Garmin Pay and some of the other contactless features that you don't get on the Instinct Solar. Now, also the other big difference between these two guys is that the Instinct Solar is more limited in the activity and sport profiles that it has available to it. So you've got your mountain bike, you've got your indoor run, you've got your outdoor run, you've got your hike, you've got your walk, you have some running. I think I already talked about that. You get the treadmill run. It's hard to keep track of all these things. Whereas on the Enduro, you have access to basically every activity profile that Garmin has created. So whether it is surfing, whether it's stand-up paddleboarding, whether you like rock climbing, whether you want indoor rock climbing, whether you want bouldering, I could go on forever. All of those activity profiles are on the Enduro. When we think about the Enduro, you could basically think about this as being a Fenix 6 Series watch with the solar charging and basically a little bit of a different battery and a different processor, which is how they get all of that added battery life. So that is the big difference between these two. Now, how do you pick between one or the other? Well, obviously we come down prices first thing, right? If you're not looking to spend $800 on a watch, then this one's out the window right away, right? If you're stuck between the two and you're saying, well, $400, but if I'm going to spend $400, maybe I might as well just buck up and spend the extra $400 and get all of those added features. Ask yourself, do you care about all of those training metrics? And are you going to be doing a triathlon? No multi-sport mode on the Instinct Solar, so that would throw this guy out. Are some of those other activity profiles like indoor rock climbing important to you? Do you like the Climb Pro feature? Hint, I really love the Climb Pro feature. It's great. Do you find yourself maybe using the VO2 max feature or some of the training suggestions? Then you're going to want to stick with the Enduro. I think that from a battery life standpoint, both of these guys are amazing. The biggest difference in the Instinct Solar is that power glass covers the whole face, whereas on the Enduro, we're just looking at it being around that outer edge there. And so that's why the Instinct Solar can go indefinitely if you want it to. But if you ask me, right, that crazy amount of time, basically being 80 days without needing to charge it, is enough time, right, to not need to mess around with never having to charge it forever. And so that's plenty of time. If I'm out there, if I'm doing a GPS activity that is lasting me longer than 80 hours, and my watch is going to be the least of my problems. So let us know down in the comments what you think. Which way are you leaning? Whether you're looking towards that Instinct Solar or the Enduro. They're both great watches in their own right. They've got great features. And we'll see you guys right back here next time.